Good evening, ESWATINI. Welcome to your 10 o'clock newscast. My name is Abonginda Mabuza and I will be reading this evening's news with you. Let's get right into our headlines. The Prime Minister, His Excellency Cleopas Dlamini, had a very successful tour of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy. The Snepedelo Motor Vehicle Accident Fund made a very hefty contribution to the police department. And a turn for the worst as a student protest turned into a looting spree in Duyengo. Good evening, ESWATINI. Welcome to your 10 o'clock newscast. My name is Abonginda Mabuza and I will be reading this evening's news with you. Let's get right into our headlines. The Prime Minister, His Excellency Cleopas Dlamini, had a very successful tour of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy. The Snepedelo Motor Vehicle Accident. Let's get right into our bulletin. The Prime Minister, His Excellency Cleopas Dlamini, left his tour of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy optimistic. The Prime Minister is positive that the ministry will go a long way as far as contributing towards the development of the country.
His Excellency the Right Honourable Prime Minister left the Ministry of Natural Resources optimistic. This follows that he was presented to many of the projects that the ministry offers, especially that of mining and petroleum, which the Prime Minister stated that he hopes these are things that the ministry will execute swiftly so that the country can benefit.
I didn't know that so much is under this ministry, and I hope it is all within your capacity, Minister, to execute as quickly as possible. Of course, we want the speed of action. I'm one person that really believes in it. Energy, petroleum company say
the Prime Minister stated the issue of procurement, that it is something that needs to be attended to.
Makes it very, very difficult. This is nothing to go to a simplistic supply contract. Supplier, and the next thing, the person is gone, it doesn't even have a workshop, so you don't know where you buy the equipment.
The Minister for Natural Resources and Energy, Senator Peter Bembe, stated that as a ministry they have aligned themselves with the mining sector to allow those who have been granted licenses to mine in the kingdom to at least do a couple of processes before they can export their products.
Lelibandla la mining sizama kwakhala umgomo ukuthi asale sikushintsha lokuthi abantu befike bagubhe nibagubhe bahamba. Sahlala phansi sabukusana ukuthi vele nje asikwente kube yipolicy ukuthi nangabe kukhona lotokwenta evenda kangwane in terms of mining. Asiqale sithi convert at least once. Kungahambi kunlo original raw material. Silwentile ngocwaningo sihamba geology sihamba mining.
Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Linda Shonga, Kimberly Mavuse Babane.
With 27% of the nation vaccinated for COVID-19, the Ministry of Health continues to promote and encourage more Yemaswati to take their jabs.
The Minister for Health, Honorable Lizingo, stated that about 31,535,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine will be destroyed by the Ministry of Health. This follows that there has been no take-up of Yemaswati into the issues of vaccination, encouraging more Yemaswati to take their jab so that they can earn a herd immunity. He also stated that it is important for them to protect themselves from COVID-19 as it is still a dangerous virus.
The ministry, at this point as we speak, we stand with 31,535 Johnson & Johnson doses that we are going to have to destroy following the disposal guidelines available. This is because these have now expired and can no longer be used. Now, we've noted the decline of new cases in COVID-19 deaths in the country in the past 3 to 4 weeks. This means that the fourth wave is coming to a close. Although we're experiencing this decline, the COVID-19 pandemic is not yet over for the country. As long as some countries around the world are still seeing increase in numbers of cases, Eswatini is not safe. We therefore continue to urge Yemaswati to continue wearing the face mask. I know some of you want to talk about this, and still adhere to the public health advice. And we would like to thank all of those.
The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Simon Zwane, stated that as a ministry they have been advised by Pfizer company that they can use Pfizer as a vaccination dose for young children, though as a ministry they are expected to follow guidelines by the World Health Organization. Therefore, as a ministry they will inform the public of any developments, and further stated that it costs government a lot of money to arrange for vaccination, while Yemaswati do not show up in their various centers.
If you will, the staff tiyojova batafe bakanekisa lapho bakanekisa khona baba bathe babuka elikhalweni Yemaswati ayeda abatsheliwe ukuthi cha nasi schedule sibe sijova kumthambana ngembekisi nanalanga nalo bahlale ke kuyoshaya 4 kushaya 5 kufike 10 manje ikhosi lenkulu ke leyo kwesinye isikhathi siye ngathi sifuna ama teams abe maningi ukhanze ukuthi siyathatha staff usisicashe sikhashana ukuthi stokigijima nje ngalo
Yemaswati News, Mbindashongwe, Babane.
The Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology hosted a digital strategy development meeting with various stakeholders this morning. The ministry announced its aim to review the national policy and strategy of 2006, all in an effort to assure a more inclusive, digitalized Eswatini.
The Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology today commissioned the workshop for stakeholders in discussing the NIC strategy, which is one strategy that the Kingdom of Eswatini has been using since 2012. The Principal Secretary from the Ministry, Mr. Maxwell Masugu, stated that the world is transforming and also there is a dire need of digital technology improvement in the Kingdom of Eswatini. He stated that this was encouraged majorly by the outburst of COVID-19, which restricted movement and people were relying largely on communication and digital strategies. He stated that this is going to assist the Kingdom of Eswatini in many sectors, especially agriculture, education, digital economy and finance, trade and industry, tourism and hospitality, health and e-government, amongst others. This next strategy is going to shine the lights on the needs of people currently, because the one that is currently under operation is quite outdated.
A digital strategy is not only about ICT sector, but also about holistic growth strategies that harness digital technologies throughout the economy. This overarching national strategy will inform the development of sector-specific growth strategies and will be an underpinning framework for all.
Mvilawe Dlamini from the Eswatini Communications Commission stated that they are in full support and they are going to work hand in hand with the ministry in improving the communication sector of the Kingdom of Eswatini. He stated that digital communication is quickly becoming a need in the population of the entire world.
As you all know, digital technologies are altering all aspects of our lives, whether it's agriculture, healthcare, transport, manufacturing, or our connections with our friends and families. Digitalization is transforming business models, social norms, and public policy landscapes. ICT as an enabler to socio-economic development touches and impacts on all economic sectors. This therefore requires that decisions and conversations on the country's direction in relation to ICTs have extensive engagements and consultations with all stakeholders.
This workshop is expected to provide everyone a chance to contribute on how well they can shape the future of a smart Eswatini, characterized by smart homes and smart cities. I'm Kanyisile Mabuza for Channel Yemaswati News, with Pegisisa Ngambule and Babane.
The Snipetelo Motor Vehicle Accident Fund, the MVA, made a hefty donation of cameras to the Royal Eswatini Police. Now, this generous donation totaled to the amount of over 500,000 emalangeni.
The Memorandum of Understanding signed between the Royal Eswatini Police Service and MVA Snipetelo was seen to have bared good fruits as the Royal Eswatini Police received equipment which is high-tech that will be used by traffic police officers to capture speed on the road so that they can arrest those who are driving above the speed limit. Presenting the donation, Max Mkonda, the Acting Chief Executive Officer for MVA, their strategy is based on accident prevention.
But ngale MOU lesisayinile i-emphasis kusuka nyalo kembili lenyendi toba accident prevention. Lamhla ke babe commissioner sibuthane lapha ngaloko nje ngetizathu te accident prevention. Mhlaba wonke annually labatiko bathi ke bantu labafako ngetingoti temgwaqo bala kuba 1.8 million. Kuyabonakalisa ke kithi nathi la khaya ngemnyaka sibhadala ema-claims landlako 110 million.
The National Commissioner of Police, William Dlamini, stated that they will enforce law so that they can arrest those who drive over the speed limit.
Kuba ngiko ukuthi bashayeli bethu bahambe ngetubane lesetulu kakhulu. Ngakho ke le mshini lemithathu itakwenda ukuthi vele emigwaqweni ma-officers saloni vutha nithi bhe nibophe noma ngubani naye National Commission makagijima munikeni lithikithi. Siyathembisa ke MVA ukuthi le mishini lemithathu nisipha yona lengeta kule minye lemningi lenisinike yona le nyona futhi isitile kuvala sikhebesi sakuhulumende ekuthengeni imishini efana nale. Siyethembisa ukuthi sayisebenzisa kahle le mishini le, siyisebenzise ukuthi kunciphe ingodi emgwaqo.
Channel Yemaswati News, I'm Linda Shongwe with Kimberly Mavuso Ilangeni.
Now, the Ministry of Home Affairs looks to resume its mopping exercise in Lubombo and in Chiselweni. Our reporter spoke to Information Officer Mlando Dlamini. Kanyisile Mabuza has more.
The Ministry of Home Affairs last year launched the mopping exercise to ensure that all Yemaswati in the Kingdom of Eswatini have been registered for national identity. Today, Channel Yemaswati reporters conducted an interview with the communications officer in the ministry, Mlando Dlamini, who stated that they are going to resume as early as next week. Dlamini stated that after careful inspection, they figured out that the Chiselweni and the Lubombo region, respectively, are the ones with the most need currently. He also added that they now have 2 mobile trucks, which are their mobile offices, following the fact that they only had 1 to go around last year.
Angibonge kakhulu mshengu. Umsebenzi mopping exercise njengaloku indvuna yawulonja eminyakeni lophelile uyaqhubeka. Sibhekile nje kuthi kulomnyaka siqhubeke siyobhalisa abantu noma ke silitiko sithe nasibuka tingcinamba letikhona ukuthi ngitiphi tigotsi letiswele bona letidzinga lolusito kakhulu. Sathola ukuthi kunesigodi saseshiselweni naselibonjeni. Lokusho ke ukuthi mshengu siyawuqala njengaloku sitawuchubeka nayo imopping siyawuqala khona eshiselweni nelibonjeni lesitakubamba simultaneously kwatise ukuthi ema-office ethu la kumahamba ngendlwane mabili nakamabili ke as-alawa kokuthi singathi sebenta tigodi letimbili ngesikhathi sinye.
Ingabe nje inganani sasasa kuwe eMaswati nisachubekani kwabhalisa?
Mshengu solo nje silalela ngoba abantu bayasendela ama-message lokwa nalokwa sive sasasa likhulu kakhulu siyasibita kuthi asivele sivela nini kuphi sekungaba kusho nje mshengu ukuthi evikini lelitako silitiko sidabe simemedela kokuthi sibheke kuphi sitawuqala kupheshiselweni sichubeke natonke tigodi size siyiqede ishiselo silitiko ke singaphindze kube kugcizelele siveni ukuthi sive singacocomi umuntu akahlale emphakathini wakhe yonke imiphakathi lekhona eveni sitayihamba kuthi muncane kanganani ukhashane kanganani nemigwaqo sitawufika kuyo yonke imiphakathi siyagcizelela nje siveni.
Dlamini encouraged all Yemaswati to stay put wherever they are and ensure that they keep an ear out to understand where the mopping exercise is going to be taking place, especially when it comes to their chiefdoms. He also strongly warned Maswati against the act of leaving their own chiefdoms to go and register at others, telling them that the ministry is going to ensure that all chiefdoms, no matter how big or small, are going to be covered in the country. I'm Kanyesile Mabuza for Channel Yemaswati News with Peggy Sankambule.
Welcome back from the ad break. Let's get right back into our bulletin. Now, students from the Yemaswati campus, led by the Swaziland National Union of Students, were involved in a protest that took a turn for the worst when high emotion led to a looting spree.
The University of Swaziland students were very angry today, such that they were protesting. The Luyengo campus students are said to have received a memo stating that workers will not be at work until further notice. That is when the students have started looting chickens at the nearby farm. At the University of Kwaluseni, the National Union of Students (NUS) led the students in protest. The students also voiced out their concern about food, whereby they stated they are tired of eating bread and jam.
Exam lokunye lebe bafuna enyuvesi inzaba ye-refund accommodation nawe basita wataletha Thursday ukuthi iple refund accommodation because abasixosha ngalo match kucala i-COVID basixosha ngalo match kanti uhulumende besayibhadele yonke imali ye-accommodation so shows the students basixosha sahamba saye ekhaya yasala imali yabo ngala alo 25 rand abambala kubona ngenyanga so sifuna le mali leyo yonke bayibuyise so
Reporting for Yemaswati channel, I am Nonhlanhla Twala, in a reporter compiled by Nontobeko Tabetse in Matapa.
And more student news now. Students from the William Pitcher College refuted claims that they were recruited by an organization whose aims are to derail and sabotage the country. This information was allegedly published by a local media outlet, and the students then took to the headquarters of that media outlet in a march.
William Pitcher student today attempted to march 2 times of ESWATINI offices in Manzini to deliver a petition following a story that was published by the newspaper, saying that the students have been recruited to sabotage the country and make it ungovernable. The march was, however, not successful because they were stopped by the police as the student did not have a permit to march on the public roads. The students said they need answers and proof from the newspaper about the student that they claim to have been recruited.
Lokusendesa sukuma si ma student ase William Pitcher sendiwe article le yabhalwa story lesabhalwa ngo Times Sunday last Sunday mhla 16 lebesithi Pitcher student have been recruited for state sabotage kwabala lokho ukuthi sitawubambe ma heist because lokho abanje ma heist lokuvimba imoto etimali nekuthi damage amapipe kwathiwa ke ama student ase William Pitcher are recruited lokho sabuta lokho ukuthi awu sine eze ama student ase William Pitcher sathi ukuthi sine guideline yethu lokho i-constitution le kuthi nangabe ama decision la thathwa la affecta onke ama student ase William Pitcher indlela kumele athatheke ngayo asiyadi lokho ukuthi kwendeke kanjani even ama student atibuta lokho ukuthi ingabe sesirecruitwe nini kanjani kwendekalani lenike ngiko lokubese kuyasukumisa ukuthi sima student siziyocela kuva lethi impendulo ngoba bese sikhulumile na times before lokho ukuthi sicela ukuthi asinike evidence lokho ukuthi lama student la part of the article kusho ukuthi bekune ma student la first year la attender that school in South Africa. Sacela lokho ukuthi sicela manje asinike lenazana lama document ukuthi nawa lama students lebeka khona because the same student athi ngima ayatibuta ukuthi ngabe ngubani lebeka khona. We are saying students have a right to participate in any movement for democratic change because under the current system kutaba nenginga uvele ukuthi our academic freedom will remain a dream. But lokukhona ukuthi akungabese ukuthi on my individual capacity to take my own decision bese sengaffecta the whole student body of William Pitcher College.
Reporting for Yemaswati channel, Mkeri Carlos, Justice Lamini, Manzini.
Famed Prophet Vusi Dlamini, otherwise known as Prophet Dr. Major V, made headlines after he healed a man of leprosy. In an interview with our reporters, the Prophet encouraged all seeking help to come to him for one-on-one sessions.
Prophet Vusi Dlamini of Mountain of Salvation Church, known as Major V, is said to have healed a man that was suffering from leprosy. The man had sores all over his body.
Yes.
sekungcono ngasengiyabona umehluko sokhonyana
wasawutebona umuntu ohambako yini ngaleli nyanga ngoba nalibonza bese dipidlika so ngesikhathi
nyabe siqala bese kasafuna kuhamba lo nje bese likhombile ngasasebenzi manje nginganyatheleli lapha nyalo sithi yakhona inyathelo ngoba nyako ngikholile nje kwehle emotini ngekhohlala lana angibengahambi
bese kuthethe isikhathi esinganani inyanga lakho ukuthi ungasahambi
inyanga lena ngiyabona is5 wangicala
na ufika kumeja v wafika wakutshela
wathi kunika inyanga
bese ngihamba ubonile lo mehluko wemva kwalenyanga sakutshela
ubona kusengicala ngiyahamba lana nje sengiyanyathela ngiyanga lokuthi kunomsipha la shoda wona ngolo lokulo wena ukuthi ngagqola inyathelo hayi ngasenyathela manje siyaqonda nomsipha.
Pride Measure V says all those that would like to receive their miracles can come for a one-on-one.
Umuntu nemuntu nesipho sakhe. Nami angeke uchathi mina ngane musa uNkulunkulu. Njengoba kubona bekuke kuleli jana eselibhekile ngasahambi uthi kude la ngayikhona but ngumnikete 4 weeks sabe phona kulona.
Umlo ufuna kuthetha sitakala la ko eMeasure V kufuneka ende njani?
Justice imali iyalungiselelwa yonke into ayilungiselela ngoba lokakhulu lokuloya kusiko akusiyo le mali but ngulenkinga lobhekanayo imali akusasa ungayithola but kubhlungu kwentatinto uloyiwe abantu abaningi bakhomplena ngemali kani bathakathi ukuze bakuloye basebenzisa imali
lokusho ukuthi kufuneka ete aphethe umnikelo
ngicabanga nje justice nawe so ungaba ngifakazi ukuthi kunaloku wamletha wambona nikela lo muntu impilo yasukunyelwa awuhlali nje ukuthi ngoba soyakholwa usisiwe bese uthi utawuhlala.
Reporting for Yemaswati channel, I am Nuhlahla Twala with Justice Lamini at Matapa.
It was donations galore in ESWATINI for golf cart handlers today. The Nati Kirsch Foundation donated 81 parcels of food to golf caddies in the community.
The Nati Kirsch Foundation still continues to donate to Yemaswati, especially those who were laid off during the outburst of COVID-19 that caused disturbances in many sectors in the country. Today, they were giving out food parcels to 81 cart handlers for golfers who used to work at the local hotels in the Kingdom of Eswatini before they were laid off. According to the Indvuna Nkundla at Lobamba constituency, Mr. Mpambatane Bembe, they are still going to do this for the next 3 months while they are negotiating with His Majesty's government to review the COVID-19 requirements for those who enter the Kingdom of Eswatini. He stated that after the reviewing, they do hope that tourists are going to have a better chance at coming into the country.
The golf course, because ema golfers akakhona kusuka South Africa etengala kusho ukuthi leto tsebenza leto solo tilala ngendlala ingako labelungu babona ukuthi COVID solo iba affecting abaqhubeke babathengele kudla lapha ne so siyacela na uhulumende sasibambise kubuke ama regulation ayo lama le COVID ngoba ngazi bavalwa ngiloti kuyadula ukuba deke ukuthi betengala ema golfers simane sakala lusa kancane kutovuleka le golf industry kumbe nalama emahotela ngakhona kube sayavula disebenzit khona kuphefumula inyalo vele indlala ihlasele kalobamba because bala emcashweni labantu bede nemali yegrant so therefore nabayedela lokudla bese kwanzisa icrime even so singacela nakulo uhulumende asibukele lama regulation kuze le industry yaka tourism sale ivuleke.
Ngabe nje namhla bangakhi bamle batotfola lokudla
namhla abantu abathola kudla nje bathengele 781 batawuthengela for 3 months ngekubuka kona lama regulations ayehla inaka sekalusekile nje intawungena ama golfers nama tourists then tasase yakhona ke belungu ukuthi bayaqhubekela bayaphilela abantu but 81 abantu abatawuthola ama food parcel namuhla.
He also urged other organizations and individuals who may be able to assist those who are out of food and jobs with any form of assistance that they can offer. I'm Kanyisile Mamuza for Channel Yemaswati News with Peggy Sangambule Ezulwini.
Well, that's all we have for this evening's news bulletin. Let's recap our headlining stories before we leave you. The Prime Minister, His Excellency Cleopas Dlamini, left the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy optimistic after his successful tour. Thus, Ngepetelo Motor Vehicle Accident Fund made a generous contribution to the Royal Eswatini Police Service, and a turn for the worst as a student protest turned into a looting spree. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Abongile Mabuza. Have a good evening.